Well, here we are. We're off on another adventure. Got the trailer hooked up. We're going to go fetch another vehicle for a customer. So you probably just that corner right there, and you already know what it is. There you go. Short bed, square body Chevy. Let's get this thing unloaded and take a look at it. Before we get started on what we're going to do on this 74 Chevrolet C10 build, let's talk a little bit about the history of these trucks. Now, the production started in 1973. They went by a C and K series, C referring to two-wheel drive and K referring to four-wheel drive. Production continued through the late 80s. Now this is where it does get a little bit fuzzy. Most people consider the square body up until 1987. In 88, they started using R and V instead of C and K. However, they were pretty much the same truck up until 91. Whatever you want to think is up to you. I like thinking that 87 and older are true square bodies. However, the production those couple of years afterwards, they're still fine trucks. These trucks are great to work on. There's so much room in the engine compartment. There's like 2 feet of space on each side of the engine. You can literally crawl in there and sit on the inner fender and work on these comfortably, whether you had the 6-cylinder or a smaller big block in these. Overall, these are great trucks. If you're looking for a great first project, this is a great option. Again, you can get any kind of part for it. They're easy to work on. There are plenty of used parts laying around. If you drive around here in North Carolina and pick any neighborhood and drive through there, I guarantee you'll see at least 2 of them in there and at least 2 of them on your way back out of the neighborhood. It's a little overwhelming, but who's going to complain? They're pretty badass trucks. Let's take a look at this truck and talk about what we're going to do to it. We're going to start at the back of the truck first. Now, typical to any kind of old farm truck or your dad's truck or your grandpa's truck, the tailgate probably got destroyed. So we have a nice homemade one here, which is actually pretty stout, and it works just fine. It's functional, it looks okay, whatever. And like most vehicles in North Carolina, the truck bed is completely full of pine straw and pine cones. Take a walk around the side here. Overall, this body is in really nice shape. It's pretty solid. There's not any huge chunks of Bondo. Even inside the wheel wells, yeah, it's rusty, but you know what? This truck's actually been all over the country, so that's not so bad. Here, however, is where we run into some problems. Right there. And that's one of the reasons it's here. Let me open the door so you can take a better look. So as you can see, it's rotted out through here in the rocker, and we're also getting into the floor pan where we've got some rot as well. I'm sure once we get the carpet and seats out of here, we'll find some lovely things. While we've got the door open, the oh so recognizable square body dash. Everything's here, steering wheel, everything's intact, it works. And like most old Chevys, they got extra gauges added in here, some kind of different shifter. This one has aftermarket air conditioning and you know, the cool carpeted 80s dash pad, and a push button start and a horn button because they failed at some point. We're going to work on that a little bit too. One thing I like about these square bodies, they still had the vent windows. I'm a huge fan of those. Come around to the front. We do have a little bit of rot down here in the fender well, but not too terrible. Around the front of the truck, we got a aftermarket grill guard on here. Thing about the hood is, it's not bad. You got where somebody did a little bit of Bondo work in here, and there was some rust across the front, but really not terrible. And go down the edge, look at that. It's not bent at all. So under the hood, we've got a small block Chevy. Somebody's put a Holley 4-barrel carburetor on it. You can see right there. And again, aftermarket air conditioning. This model is manual steering and manual brakes, no power booster. All right, so now what are we going to do to this truck? Let me give you a quick rundown. First things first, we're going to give this thing a bath. We're going to get all this pine straw out of the way, so in case we do any welding, we don't set it on fire. Pine straw lights off really easy, by the way, and it smokes terribly and it flies everywhere. Don't do that. We're going to take care of the rust in the wheel wells as well as the rust at the bottom of the rockers and the floor pans. We're going to go ahead and remove the seats And we're also going to go ahead and fix his issue with the front brakes. Now, we popped the master cylinder off because we had no brakes, popped the cover off the master cylinder, and there was absolutely no fluid in the bowl for the front brakes. So we got to find the leak, figure out what the problem is, and we're also going to upgrade it to power brakes. We're going to be upgrading it to power steering as well, but keeping the air conditioning because it does function and it works just fine. There's no point in ripping it out, and there's no point in putting a different kit in there. We're also going to remove the front bumper and the grill guard and the rear bumper because our customer would like to put new bumpers on it. We're also going to get a real tailgate for it and get that sorted out and take care of that horn push button and that start button and make this thing function like it's supposed to through the steering wheel and the ignition switch. Now, this project's going to be a little ways out because we have some new ones in the shop here that were scheduled beforehand, but we'll definitely be getting to it soon. If you would, comment down below. Tell me about your first square body or the one you want, or what you want to do to your current one, or if you have any more information about the history of these or experiences with them, please feel free to comment below. Thanks for joining me. Till next time, happy hot rodding.